Hi everybody, welcome to Eureka Math, Module 4, Lesson 10. Today our objective will be to use the addition of adjacent angle measures to solve problems using a symbol for the unknown angle measure. So just as a quick vocabulary check, adjacent angles are angles that are next to each other. So adjacent just means anything that is next to something else. So let's begin with a right angle. So we remember that a right angle is 90 degrees. So there's our right angle. We have two adjacent angles. So these two angles are right next to each other. And one of them is 60 degrees. So a little more explanation. Here we have a whole angle and broke it into two parts. So we took that 90-degree angle and broke it into two parts. We know that one of the angles is 60 degrees, and we want to figure out what the missing angle measure is. So think about how you might go about finding out that angle measure. Now, we know the whole angle is 90. We know that the angle measurement of one of the parts is 60 degrees, and we're going to call the missing part x degrees. So how do we find the measure of x degrees? What would our equation be? Think about that. What would we need to add, subtract to find x? Well, I do know that 60 degrees plus x degrees, the missing angle measure, equals 90 degrees altogether. So how would we find that x? Let's move to the next slide to figure that out together. So we can find the angle measure of x degrees by subtracting. We're going to take our equation there and find x by subtracting 60 from 90. So we're going to rearrange our equation to be 90 degrees minus 60 degrees equals x degrees. Now we can most likely do that mentally. We know that 90 minus 60 equals 30 degrees. So now we know that x, that missing angle measure, is 30 degrees. Now, on the homework and the problem set, you will be asked to verify this with a protractor. So if you have your protractor handy, make sure you are verifying that your answers are correct. So now that we've done that, we can say that our big idea for this lesson would be that we can find the measure of a missing angle when we know at least one of the parts of the whole. So the right angle on the left, that's the problem we did earlier. We found that the missing angle was 30 degrees. Now let's do the straight angle on the right. So we see that we have a straight angle, and it's cut up into two parts. One of the angles is 132 degrees. Let's figure out what that question mark is. So here it is. We have adjacent angles on a straight angle. So we know the whole angle is 180 degrees. We know one of the angles is 132 degrees. What is the measure of the other angle? And I renamed that question mark to an x. So that's our unknown. We are going to figure that x out the same way we did in the first example, but this time we have a 180-degree straight angle. So we're going to use the same method. Take a look. What would our equation be? Our equation will be 132 degrees plus x degrees equals 180 degrees, because the straight angle, the total of the straight angle is 180 degrees. And we'll use subtraction to find that x. So now we subtract 132 from 180. Let's do the work. So we'll do the work on the side. 180 minus 132 is 48. So our angle is 48 degrees. And of course, on the problem set and the homework, we will try to verify with our protractor. And those are the two examples that I'm going to do in the slideshow. We're going to head over to the problem set, do a few problems together, and then you'll be on your own. So get out your problem set as I do, and let's get to work. All right, the first thing we're going to do is just have a few notes at the top. I just want you to remember right angle and straight angle. So I'm going to color code today. At the top, I'm just going to write right angle equals 90 degrees, and then straight angle equals 180 degrees. This will just be a reminder. I am going to color code so that I can make the color coding note so I can remember what's what down below. Sometimes you may not need it, but I like to do this so I don't make those mistakes. All right, so I'm just going to show you how this color coding works. We'll do one of each. We'll do two problems, one right angle problem and one straight angle problem on this page. So the instructions: write an equation and solve for the measure of angle X. Verify the measurement using a protractor. So for my examples today, I will not be verifying with a protractor, but you should do that at home. Let's do 2. So we are looking at angle GFE. I'm going to highlight that because it is a right angle. I'm also going to highlight the right angle to remember that this is going to be 90 degrees, and I'm going to be using the total of 90 degrees. I see that the angle that we know is 20. I know that X is the one that's missing, so I'm going to write our first equation: 20 degrees plus X degrees equals 90 degrees. I know my total is 90 degrees. In order to find out, I need to subtract. So on the side, if I want to, I can do this mentally as well. I can just quickly do that if I want. And I find that it is 70 degrees. So X is 70 degrees. All right, so there's our first example on the problem set. You can do you can do one on your own. And let's move down to our straight angles. So for 3 and 4, we are working with straight angles. So I think I use straight angles. I use pink. Let's do 4. I'm going to highlight this in pink so I remember my angle is right here. It is 180 degrees because that's how I'm color coding. If you recall, at the top, my straight angles are in pink. So here we go. Angle MNO. MNO is a straight angle, which is 180 degrees. I see that this angle here is 83. X shows me the missing angle. I'm going to write 83 degrees plus X degrees equals 180 degrees. And then I will subtract 83 from 180 to find my missing angle. Let's regroup here. Now I have 10 ones. 10 minus 3 is 7. I can't do 7 minus 8 in the 10, so it will be 17 minus 8, or I could have just done 17 minus 8, is 9. So it's 97 degrees. Okay, let's move on. You'll do number 3 on your own. And let's move on to our next one. Now these are a little bit, this we didn't have in the slideshow. Now we have 3 adjacent angles. Now we have 3 adjacent angles, and we're going to figure out the missing angles. Solve for the unknown angle measurements. Write an equation to solve. So number 5, solve the measurement of angle TRU. Angle QRS is a straight angle. I used pink. So I'm going to color code pink to remind myself that this is going to be 180 degrees. The pink signifies that. So what do we know? We know that right here we have a right angle. I see this little box right here. So that means that's 90 degrees right there. So we know 2 of the angles. So our equation will be 90 degrees plus 36 degrees plus X degrees equals 180 degrees. So I can add these 2 together. Okay, I'm going to add that up here, 90 plus 36. That's 126. So 126 degrees plus x degrees equals 180 degrees. I just need to subtract now. I know that I need to do 180 minus 26 to find that x. I will do that up here. 180 degrees minus 126 degrees. So I have 7 minus 2 in the tens column. So I see that this x is 54 degrees. I'm going to circle it because I know that is what we are looking for. So on a test, if we do find that we are doing this on a test, please circle your answer for me so that it's clear. Let's move on to the next one. Now, I'm going to write a line here. Draw a line, I should say, because I feel like I'm going to need some room. So this time, solve for the measurement of angle Z, Y, V. Angle XYZ is a straight angle. So again, we're using straight angle. I'm going to color code in pink. Angle, XYZ. So X starts right here. XYZ. There's our straight angle. I can see that this angle is 60 degrees. This angle is 108 degrees. And this angle is our missing measure. So my equation will be 60 degrees plus 108 degrees plus x degrees equals 180 degrees. We'll add those together first. So I know that these together, these two, equal 168 degrees. And that makes sense. That would be a large obtuse angle. Plus x degrees equals 180 degrees. And then we just need to find the x with subtraction. And I know I need to do 180 minus 168. Some of you might be able to do this mentally, which would be fine. And I know that that's probably correct because that is a very small angle. So I got 12 degrees right there. That's kind of tiny. So I'm going to circle my answer here as well. So x equals 12 degrees. All right, let's move on to number 7. Number 7, in the following figure, A, C, D, E is a rectangle. Without using a protractor, determine the measurement of angle DEB. So DEB, this is our missing angle. Write an equation that could be used to solve the problem. Now, they don't tell us if it's a straight angle or a right angle, but they did give us a clue. Our clue was ACDE is a rectangle. What does that tell you? It tells me that each angle in a rectangle is a right angle. So if I'm going to color code this angle that we're using here is a right angle. That means it is 90 degrees. So my equation would be 27 degrees plus x degrees equals 90 degrees. And I'm going to leave you with that, and you can solve that. For number 8, your answers will vary. Follow the directions and then find the angles of your find the angles that you have created. So everyone's going to have different answers, slightly different answers for number 8. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do that on your own. I'm going to let you finish 7 on your own and the problems we didn't do on the first page. I'm going to head back over to our slides so you can see, so you can pause and work on that and then come back to our slideshow to check your work. So it's a little bit blurry. I apologize, but hopefully you can see the answers. So when you check, if you did not get the right answers, make sure you are verifying with a protractor. Check your addition and subtraction. On this page, I see that they wrote the angle measures equal, and then the angle letters equal the angle measure. That's a good idea too. And of course, in that last problem, you will have different answers. That's an example. It just depends on how you drew your angles and your points. All right, that brings us to the end of our problem set. Please do your homework, correct your homework, and send me pictures of it. I hope you enjoyed this. I really like this lesson. And I will see you in lesson 11.